What do you think it's going to take for bookkeeping to be able to scale more quickly? Obviously, it's people heavy, right? There is a resource that you have to provide.
Yes, so it's actually getting it out there that the bookkeeping franchising exists because that's not a most obvious franchise out there. Like when we did the expos, which the first year we did a lot of them,
Mhm.
and we're not very successful. So I can tell you I have not sold a single franchise out of the expos, even though we did probably 10 of them. And I know it works for some brands, did not work for us
Mhm.
because majority of the time people are like, really bookkeeping? Oh, we had no idea you can franchise that because this is not a pizza franchise where it's obvious and then people like, okay, I want to have a pizza restaurant. I mean, here's what the equipment I need, here's what I need to do, and now I'm gonna go and decide between these 10 brands that are available in my market and
Right.
see which one I like the best. Again, this is a lot of it is like a blue ocean market.
Sure.
Majority of my competition is actually they are tax franchises that also offer bookkeeping, like an H&R Block, Liberty Tax. So they tax first, and then oh, by the way, we're gonna be offering bookkeeping. And funny enough, they started doing it last few years. Before H&R Block did not offer bookkeeping. Okay,
Mm,
they just started doing it. I want to say 2, maybe 3 years ago.
right.
Okay, so we don't do any taxes, and the reason we don't do taxes because we get majority of the referrals from CPAs, other CPAs. So why would I shoot myself in the foot? Again, this is my thinking. Obviously, H&R Block is super successful with thousands of units.
Right.
I would love to be, size of H&R Block, but yet for what we offer, I don't think that's the right model. We
Sure.
don't need class A office because it's all remote. It can be done from your home. It can be done from anywhere in the world, really.
And the fact is, you know who you are. You know your company's lane, right, to be in. And I think that I could picture you guys at, one of the conferences, or I should say, at one of the expos, and I could see people being intimidated because they see it's bookkeeping, and they might be intimidated. Well, I don't know anything about that, and they don't realize that their number one job is really getting clients. That, like you said earlier, they don't have to do any of the bookkeeping. There's a resource there to do this for the service to be handled. And it's really about them getting out in the community.
So right now, it just, I'm working on getting the story out there and then working on the PR campaign and working in educating people. That's the biggest challenge that we've seen. And I think once we get through the first 15 franchises, it'll get way easier. I mean, now I see more and more interest, and we are starting national campaigns, and we reaching out to accountants, and we're reaching out to franchisees of other brands that might be interested in adding bookkeeping into their portfolio because again they might have access to other potential clients. So that we're changing the marketing strategy. So I think 2024 is going to be a pretty big for us because we are revamping a lot of different things that we're doing.
Nice. What about your team overall? So, how many employees you have? It sounds like to me, from what you said earlier, they're kind of all over the world. And how big is the group?
So we have 23 employees right now, and yes, I have employees obviously in the United States. We have a physical office in Philippines. We have a physical office in Barcelona, Spain. Everybody in the US works remotely from their houses, but everybody outside of the US, they actually work out of the physical offices. Okay, so that's done to build the culture and to build the camaraderie and make sure that we have actually an organized business and it's not just like an outsourcing of bookkeeping to people all over the world. So that's definitely not our model.
Okay. So, speaking of that, now let's kind of transition to I'm a franchisee. What does training look like for me?
So you would get 2 weeks full-time training, which is all done remotely, which is great. You don't have to fly anywhere. And that includes the business development. It includes the basic accounting. It includes networking, how to get clients, how to price clients. And then, of course, the software training. We do have our proprietary software called BooksDesk
Hmm.
that is designed for accountants and bookkeepers. Right now, it's only available for bookkeeping employees and bookkeeping franchisees. We developed this software. We thought about taking it out to the market and offering to other companies, but we just don't have the muscle to push it, out. But it's a great resource for our own employees and franchisees. And then also we're training on QuickBooks, we train on Zero and some other softwares, Bill.com and so on and so forth. And then after the first 2 weeks, they get the ongoing operational training, they get ongoing business development training, and then they get 6 months of sales training with the live sales coach who's actually going to be teaching them how to sell. Because let's be honest, majority of accountants, well, majority of anybody don't know how to sell.
Right.
Okay. And that's the hardest part. It's just, you might have the best product, but if the world doesn't know about it,
Mm-hmm.
then, there is not much that is going to be happening. I believe the bookkeeping is a great product. My job right now is make sure that the world knows about it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm working on right now. So they get 6 months of that. Also, Elena, who, is a co-founder of Bookkeeping, she's offering 1 year of executive coaching to everybody who becomes a franchisee. Elena is a PhD. She's a TEDx speaker, and, she does consulting for some large national corporations. So she's actually working with all the franchisees for 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
making them better and getting them to the peak of their performance. And there is no charge for that. That's all included in our franchise fee because, hey, let's be honest, their success is our success.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. What's the investment range for the franchise?
So the investment range is 25,000 to 52,000. Our franchise fee is $30,000. However, if you are an existing accounting business like a CPA or a bookkeeping business, you only pay 20. And we also give 30% discount to veterans, active military spouses, and first responders.
Wow, that's awesome. That's great. And Max, tell me about the territory size. I'm trying to get an idea of how big is big.
So territory is 500,000 people of population,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually, pretty big area. So for example, like Bookkeeping Miami, the entire city of Miami and South Beach, Florida are taking. However, anything north of Miami is still available.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's probably another 2.5 million
Right.
people.
Right.
And but having said, even though they have a protected territory, and that's not going to be a Bookkeeping Miami too, if a franchisee in Miami has a cousin or friend in Boston and they refer the clients, they're more than welcome to take it because you go where the referral partner is. You just can't go and actively
Oh.
market in Boston area.
Okay.
But yet you do get a protected territory. And my thinking was when we organized it, I didn't want it to become ADP, which is a payroll company. It's a
Mm-hmm.
great company, but like I don't know, in San Diego, for example, probably has 20 reps, and they're stepping on each other's toes, and you get calls from this, ADP from different people. Hey, let's meet, let's meet. I'm like, well, we're already working with you guys. You probably should know that we already work with one of your reps. So I don't want bookkeeping to become that. That's why we kind of geographically protect territory, but
Mm-hmm.
yet we're not limiting where they can get the clients from, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's your vision for the company overall?
So I know we can do it. I think we are getting there to learning how to do it. Um, my goal is to get to sell another 25 in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So get it to about 30 units and then probably another 25, 30 the following year. So I think once we get to 50 franchises, we can take a pause and see how we can get to the next level. But I don't have a idea of selling 1,000 units, but I definitely know that bookkeeping has in it at least 100 franchises in the United States. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't have any plans going internationally. The only way we would go to Canada if somebody wants to buy like a master territory and develop it in the whole country. I would be interested in doing that, but I can tell you right now, I have zero desire to now start this concept, outside of the United States, because United States is a pretty big area for us to chew.
Sure. I
So
think that's really, really smart, to stay put, focus on the US because you have so much, green space still.
people don't realize bookkeeping is a $4.2 billion industry in the United States
Mm.
alone a year. So it's huge. Okay, so this is just it's growing more after COVID. Right now, we get more clients who just want to close their accounting departments and just say, you know what, we want to outsource it. And they're saving money doing that. So we're not talking about once a month close. We have some clients that we work for on a daily basis. We pay the bill, we create the invoices. So we're pretty much the extension of their company. Just we don't happen to be inside of their office.
Sure.
And we're not doing it full time.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.